Cheers. I am your host, FatDag. You're listening to WhysAdvice. My weight loss journey failed when I focused on how. It wasn't until I switched my focus to why that I truly transformed myself. Join the show on the web at fatdag.com and follow along on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, all at WhysAdvice. Send in your comments, your questions, your celebrations. I'll include them as part of the show. But before we dive in, remember, when you're out of points, stop eating points. Hey, I'm honored to be your wingman as we walk through this journey together because I believe in you. Well, hello there. Good evening to welcome to episode number 270. Man, it's just, it's always fun to just kind of catch up with the live group ahead of the show. I got a couple important things to share before we get into this episode. I'm warning you right now, hit pause, go grab some tissues because you're going to want them for this episode. Trust me, you're going to need it. So I want to give you that heads up now. So before you need them, I'm going to kind of give you an update on a couple things. This coming weekend, Memorial Day weekend 2019, I will be in Tulsa as part of the international tour again, rolling into Tulsa. So on the 25th, Saturday morning, we will be running the 5K for the day-on-day 5K race. We did it last year, so it's the exact same race we did last year. So if you were in Tulsa last year, same exact thing, same exact weekend. Hope to see you all out there. You can go to fatdag.com to register or pre-register and find the information to get registered. If you go to the website directly, you can join the 2019 International Tour link. And the team, and just kind of meet us out there that morning. It'd be very fun to see you all out there. That's Memorial Day 2019. That's coming right up. This episode number 270, will be the episode that pushes this podcast over 3 million downloads. Incredible numbers. I would have never, ever in a million years guessed. As a matter of fact, I remember when I first started the podcast, episode 1 through 10-ish, I was looking at the download numbers because it was kind of surprised me. And I remember seeing from a lot of the podcast experts, it's like when you get your podcast to 20,000 downloads, it's kind of a big deal. And I remember looking at the numbers going, okay, well, not going to worry about that ever. And here we are, episode 273 million downloads. So let me tell you what 3 million downloads represents. That is 3 million instances where somebody somewhere was doing their plan, looking for a little bit more inspiration, maybe some motivation, and they found it through the podcast. 3 million times somebody said, I need something to keep me motivated. I need something to keep me focused. I need something to keep my journey intact. 3 million times this podcast served as that. Man, it's a complete honor to deliver this to you. I'm so glad that, one of the things I know to be true more than anything is that for those of us following the WW plan, for those of us who are attending workshops once a week, man, that once a week workshop is incredible, but it doesn't last 7 days. The motivation we get in that 30-minute window for a lot of us doesn't carry full 7 days. So we need to find additional tools along this journey to keep us rocked in. 3 million times this podcast has answered that question for somebody, and that somebody is you. So thank you for downloading. Thanks for being a part of the community. It's just an incredible ride for all of us, and I'm truly, truly honored that you've chosen this as your way to be motivated. So thank you for sure. Lee is asking online if that includes folks who have re-listened. Yeah, every time you listen, provided it's this, there's some couple stats that are kind of crazy. Like if you listen to the same one over and over and over and over again, no. But it's a unique IP address and a unique episode in a 24-hour window is what the Internet IAB standards are. So there's a little bit of an algorithm, but basically 3 million times someone said, hey, I need some help, and this podcast did it. So we're gonna rolling into my retirement from the Air Force coming right up, and I'm more excited for that than anything else because it gives me the freedom to really dig into this side of the inspiration and take that 3 million number, go to 10 million or whatever it is, where we can just continually provide the support that we need on the show. And so one of the things I got going on right now is I'm working on very, very hard moving this studio out of my living room. I'll put a picture later up of what I see when I do the show, right? And so you guys see this view for the live show, but I'll put a picture on Connect, and I'll put it even on my Facebook, FatDag, the WhysAdvice Facebook page, and I'll show you the view I have looking out right here, and then you'll understand why it's critical for me to get out of this room and into the studio. So I've asked the Wingman community to help me with that. You can certainly, there's a GoFundMe link. You can find that. Go to fatdag.com/studio. You can see that information there. You can certainly find it on the Facebook page. I think I tweeted it out. It's everywhere. If you're able to provide some support and you want to get the studio out of my living room and into the basement where it needs to be, that is the opportunity. So it's a lofty goal. I've done it right. We're going to have soundproofing. It's going to be the greatest technology. It's going to be a lot of work going in this thing. And so you guys stepping up to making that happen is truly, truly a blessing. So thank you for all that. Let's get into the show. Episode 270. I told you if you didn't get tissues already, you're going to want to head and go and grab them now. You're certainly going to need them for for email number 2, but you may need them earlier. So here we go. The first email, it comes in anonymously. And like I said, you can always send in an email anonymously. We will certainly protect your identity if that's your desire. What I want you to do is make sure you get your voice out there. I want you to get your story written down. So this one does come in anonymously. It says, Dear FatDag, this morning I got an automated email from you that simply said in the subject line, it's been a while. You doing okay? Before I even opened the email, I started crying. I guess that means fantastic, right? No, I'm not okay. Sort of. One of my loved ones asked me in the moments of anxiety or worry, hey, is anyone hurt? Is anyone dead? Is anyone in danger of being hurt or dead? No? Well, then everything is okay. And if that's the definition, well, then yes, I'm okay. Life is clipping along. Work is fine. Home is fine. But inside, I'm not fine. I'm staring down the barrel of another summer of hiding myself. Another summer of not going to the beach. Another summer of cowering in the air conditioning away from the sun, wearing jeans in the 100-degree heat when I have to go outside because I can't show my flesh out of utter shame and embarrassment about the way I look. Can I visualize a different life? Well, you bet. I could visualize a summer in which I pack up my suit and my dogs and head out to the beach and bask in the sand, reading a book, or an evening where I hop on my bike, wearing some khaki shorts and go for a ride to a friend's house just a few miles away. I can imagine many scenarios, but I have a very practical mind as well. I know I'm pasty white with fat thighs and cellulite. And while I shouldn't care what a stranger or even a friend or a family member may think or say of me and my appearance, I actually do. And it hurts. What's funny is that no one really needs to comment on me anymore or ridicule me. I do it myself, to myself, in my head, every time I look in the mirror. Am I doing okay? No. So what am I doing to change it? You recently asked, what is one thing you can do consistently every day? And I answered, track every point. And I did for 2 days until I overate. And then I thought, see, you effed up again. And I didn't track the screw up. I didn't track anything after that because I knew that the whole food record was now a lie. Then I thought, what is getting in my way? Not being prepared. That's in my way. Well, how can I get over that? Get to the store, buy the food that I need so I don't cave into the temptation later. But then I didn't go to the store. Why? Well, because people will see me. I don't understand this irrational fear of being seen. It's not like I live in a cave. I'm a teacher, for crying out loud. Kids see and hear me all day long. I can take a good guess as to what you're thinking. This woman is off her rocker, her bat's in the belfry. She's 2 fries short of a Happy Meal. Again, I don't say these things out loud to anyone ever. I did at my workshop, though, because I felt comfortable. I felt related to and unjudged. But my workshop was recently closed due to lower attendance, so now I switched to online only, and 2 pounds by 2 pounds, the weight piles on. It's my fault. My fault. No excuses. But I can't quite get myself back on the rails to any form of success. I'm sorry my letter is a huge downer, but there is no one I can say these things to. Not my 14-year-old son. It's not his burden. Not my mother. Trust me, she is no help in reminding me of how I used to look, or how I used to be something to look at back in the day. Not even the gent I'm dating. Well, how can I confess to him my awareness of my shortcomings, or worse yet, sound like I'm asking for a compliment? Honestly, you don't have to answer this note at all. I'll just consider it a journaling of where I finally get some of these thoughts down. Thank you for everything you do and how hard you work for us out here. Many of us who you don't even know us from Adam or Eve. Sincerely, Anonymous. Folks, if this doesn't sum up a bulk of the journey for so many of us, I don't know what is. I can relate to every single bit of this, and I believe many of you listening can as well. And here's where I want to go. I want to go all the way back to the beginning. First and foremost, if you go to fatdag.com and you sign up for the email newsletter, it is an automated email newsletter to remind you on occasion, hey, I am here for you. You're here for you. You asked to be reminded. That's all that serves the purpose of doing, is to kind of put something in your inbox a couple weeks from now to make you go, oh, that's right. I want to be motivated. I want to kind of get that. So I'm glad that worked. And I'm glad you had the ability to read it and take a true, honest assessment of where you are. Now, here's where I want you to go with this. So the things that you've said to yourself, first of all, you said the email is a huge downer. I don't believe that's the case. I believe this is a very, very positive email. And here's why I say that, because you took a moment to take care of you. The time it took you to write this, you couldn't just jolt this out in about 10 seconds. You probably had to spend a good 10 minutes or more typing this out, editing it, and then doing whatever you need to do to finally hitting send. In that 10-minute window, or whatever it took you to type this out, I'm guessing longer, honestly, in that window that it took you to type this out, what you did was you did a form of self-meditation. You did a form of sitting there internalizing. And so maybe a lot of it in your own brain came out as negative, but you were able to get those negative thoughts out and you sent them to me. And so now what we're going to do with those negative thoughts is we're going to twist them around and say, wait a minute, you actually got a lot of things going for you. So you understand this journey. Can you visualize a different life? You bet you can. And so now what we need to do, we need to take that visualization exercise and just slowly, ever so slowly, use that to our advantage. It does go back to, what is one thing you can do every single day? Start there. And you started on that path, right? And so you said, I can track every single day. I didn't say I track every single day and be perfect at it. What I said was simply track every day. And so if you open your app every day and you type in a number and it's minus 400, that's great, right? You tracked 400 points worth of food today, fine. Now, tomorrow, let's see if we can track 300 points, right? A couple days later, let's see if we can get it to 250. And so it may take some time to do that, but if you track everything every single day in that mindset and allow yourself not to be perfect at it, you can then make improvements. The thing I think the most valuable thing about tracking is that when you scan something and it shows up as 50 points, and you decide to have it anyways, which is completely your prerogative, and you put it in the app and you track it down as 50 points, you scanned it, you logged it, you ate it, boom, it's over. The next time you're tempted by that, you're not going to have to scan it. You're going to remember that it was 49 points or 50 points. You're going to remember that it was too much, and then you will make a different decision the next time. Not looking it up, not tracking it. Then what happens is all of a sudden you just don't make the connection to that is not helping you reach the goals that you want to get. That is the value of putting everything in your app. And you did that until the point where it started to bubble over, and you said, no. The true learning happens when you start putting it all down, because then you can then have something to adjust to. So that's what I want you to continue working on. And I don't want you to be perfect at it. I just want you to put it in there. And so as you start making that success, you're going to start making changes because you're going to start realizing that you can do this. This irrational fear of being seen, it's not irrational at all if that's your journey. So own it. It's completely okay. And so using terms like irrational, using terms like few fries short of a happy meal, that's not helping you in your journey. I get that that's how you feel, but what I want you to understand more than anything is that you've taken on a role to educate the children of the world. Now, I'm a huge fan of school teachers. My wife's a school teacher, so I understand the school teacher lifestyle. So for you to get in front of a classroom and to look at the youth of America, the foundation of our entire world, and to educate them, you've been able to put that fear aside because you understood the value that you can bring to the world if you can simply say, it's not about me, kinda. And so during that 8-hour school day, which tends to be a 12 or 13-hour school day, I get it. During that long school day, when you now have taken on the responsibility of educating someone else, the fears that you put aside. So you are capable of doing that. Now what you need to do is through the rest of the day, that same ability to put that fear aside comes when you say, okay, now I want to educate me. I've educated the children as best as I can for the day. Now when I leave the school, it's time to continue that education, and I turn into the teacher and the student at the exact time. You can be self-taught on this journey. And so use that same power, that same motivation, and go to the store, pre-plan, pre-track, do everything you can to get prepared, knowing that you've got this. You're completely wrong. I didn't guess at all that you were off your rocker. I didn't guess at all that you were irrational. What I guessed at all is that you are just like the rest of us trying to figure out how to make this work. It's not your son's responsibility. It's not your mother's. It's not your boyfriend's. It's yours. And you have a supportive community. The Wise Wingman Facebook group, if you're in there, I hope you are. The Wise Wingman Facebook group provides that support. This podcast provides that meeting in your pocket, that workshop in your pocket. So, it's unfortunate that your workshop closed, but there are so many other supportive tools out there. In the Patreon community, for those of you who are members of the Wingman group, the Patreon group, go to fatdag.com, click on become a patron. Every Monday at 3:00, we do a live chat. We chat for about an hour every Monday afternoon. So that can replace this a little more different support. I'm in there every Monday chatting with you folks. So I want you to be in there to get an additional level of support for you. So thanks for writing in. Thanks for journaling what you're thinking, because it's important to get it out. Whether you send it in or not is somewhat irrelevant. The show doesn't continue without them, but you can. And that's what's important, is the fact that you've taken the time to get it out, write it out, and sending it in is just a bonus. So thank you for sharing, for sending in your email. You can do this. You totally can do this. There's no way you can stand in front of a classroom for 8 hours a day and not be an amazing person, period. It's just absolutely impossible. You have a heart of gold. That's why you're a teacher. Now we just say, okay, I want to now be self-taught for success. Keep up the great work. The next email comes in out of Marshfield, Wisconsin, from Jill. Jill says, "Hi, FatDag. Hey, first, I'd like to start off by saying thank you. Thank you for your service. I will be forever grateful to you. I also want to thank you for being so open about your struggles and being someone that others can relate to. I've been debating about writing this because it's so personal, and, well, when things get too personal, I tend not to share, but I need to. My weight has been a roller coaster most of my life, and just when I seem to get control over it, something happens to knock me back down and keep me down. About 10 years ago, I lost 50 pounds, and since then, I've been able to keep most of it off until now. I've gained all but 3 pounds of it back. I need to share what has taken me down this slippery slope the past month. I know many have had far worse things happen in their lives, and I try to remember that, but I need to share this to help me get back up. I'm 40 years old, and my husband and I have 2 healthy and happy boys. I always wanted another child, but my husband was okay with 2, and I accepted that. Then, in early December, I found out I was pregnant. I cried because I was excited and beyond belief. God was blessing us with our 3rd child, and after my husband's initial shock wore off, we were planning for our 3rd child. We shared the news on Christmas with our 2 boys who were both excited beyond belief. They discussed whether they thought the baby was a boy or a girl, and they both decided on a girl. And then they discussed even more important things like whether she'd be a Vikings or a Packers fan. We also shared the news with our parents, brothers, and a few select friends. I wanted to wait until the end of the first trimester to share it with everyone. I had my first appointment on January 2nd, and I was so excited everything was going good, and they scheduled an ultrasound for the next day to get a better idea of my due date. That night, I started bleeding, and it didn't stop. Then came the cramping. I had the ultrasound and was in denial of what could possibly be happening. While I waited to hear from my doctor, the reality set in. I was pleading, "Dear God, please help my baby." The doctor called and confirmed my fears. I was heartbroken. I called my husband and we cried together over the phone. I then had more labs and went home. The boys came home from school and we had to share the news with them. It was awful. Our oldest crawled on my lap, put his head down, and wept for 10 minutes straight. Our youngest crawled up on my husband's lap and he wept. All four of us cried together that afternoon. That was Thursday, January 3rd. I've been eating my feelings ever since. I know I'm still grieving and I'm trying to take control of it, but I'm spinning. Food has always been my go-to. When I'm happy, I make something special. When I'm sad, I make some comfort food. So as I sit here typing this, I turned on FatDag's One Day at a Time episode because I remember that this was the episode that my very brave friend Amy's email was read. One thing she said struck home. I need to find a way to feel worthy of taking care of myself. I'm a mom. That's my most important job. I struggle with taking care of myself before even taking care of them. Ever since I became a mom, they were number one, but right now, I'm miserable. I love my job, I love my husband, I love my children, but I don't like myself very much right now, and that's starting to spill over into these other areas that I love. You told Amy to put more time and effort into her health, and I know this, but how do I rid myself of the guilt? The guilt that is right now paired with mourning. I guess I must take it one day at a time, and there are some days that I will. I'll have to take it one meal or one snack at a time. I have already written my grocery list for my Saturday morning shopping trip and have my meals planned for the next week. Yes, I'm starting over on a Saturday. I cannot do another eat what I want and start on Monday. I need to do this now. I've decided that my why is not to be skinny and look good, although, if I'm being honest, it wouldn't make me sad. Seriously, though, I want to be healthy. I want to spend time with my loved ones that doesn't revolve around the couch. I want to show them how to have a good relationship with food, whatever that may look like. I want them to see their wife, their mom, be the example because, like you said before, they are watching. You know, it's amazing. Although typing these words wasn't easy and tears were certainly shed, it feels good to get it out. Now, I just need to be brave enough to hit send. Thank you, FatDag, and to everyone out there for your support. Jill. Jill, thank you for being incredibly brave to hit send. There are so many people. This is not uncommon, right? There are so many people that have gone through this, and you being able to document your journey and to share it with the entire world shows an incredible bravery that I'm not sure if you really fully comprehend how amazingly awesome you are for doing that. So I want to start there. I think that's the most important piece, is that you have demonstrated by simply jotting this down and by sending it in, you have demonstrated that you have incredible strength. No matter what else comes your way, you can rely on this bit of strength to know that you can certainly get through it. You're allowed to grieve. You're allowed to be in mourning. And so as you opened your email, you said, I know many have had far worse things happen in their lives, and you try to remember that. I don't want you to discount this journey of yours. And so just like we try and say you don't compare your journey to someone else's, is you can't even compare this side of it, right? This is 100% happening to you. Sure, other people may have had different But this is 100% your choice. So it 100% affects you. And I do not want you for a second to dismiss the fact that you ought to grieve and you ought to mourn. And that's going to look different for every single person. You're grieving as a mom. You're grieving as a wife. You're grieving as a mother to 2 children as they grieve. You have to grieve with them and for them. You got a lot on your shoulders, kiddo. And that's perfectly okay to be exactly where you are because you're handling it, right? So you are comforting your 2 children. You're working with your husband and you're working all that through as you continue to deal with your own grief. So I want you to understand that is completely okay. And so yeah, you lost 50 pounds. That's fantastic. You've gained a bunch of it back. But the cool thing is, you can get back there. And so as you go through this grief process, trust me, I get it. As you go through this grief process, continue to give yourself what you need, and you will find a point when all of a sudden life starts feeling normal again. Oh yeah, it'll be a completely different normal, right? It's never going to get back to where it was, but there will come a time when things start getting back into a routine. When you get back into that routine, that is now your new normal. When you settle into that, you then look at back and you say, okay, now what's one thing I can tweak in this new normal to improve my life? And that's how we make this change. So I'm not asking you now to make drastic changes because you've got a lot going on and your family needs you and you need you. It's 2 separate things, right? And so in the midst of all that, to also say, oh, and I must focus on losing weight? Man, it's a little difficult. The focus is exactly where you need it to be. You're focused on your family. You're focused on the priority of making sure that everyone in the household is okay, to include yourself. When you get back into that normal, again, we'll make slow adjustments. And so what we'll do is we'll use the strength that it took to draft this email. We'll use the incredible strength that it took to hit send. And I'm sure even listening to this is even difficult in itself. So all of that strength combined, we will use that to do what we've already proven we can do as your life gets into a new normal. You get to set the timeline. No one else. No one else can look at you and say, okay, Jill, it's time to stop grieving. Move on with your life. No. That's not how this works. How this works is you get to set the timeline, and when you start to recognize that things are kind of back into a routine, then you make a slight change to get you where you need to be. I'm glad that as you were typing this out, you were able to get into the podcast and kind of, allow yourself to kind of get in that moment. And your friend Amy, certainly walked a parallel journey in some fashion where you said, okay, through her strength, I found strength. What you've done by sending this in is you've enabled someone else right now to say, okay, I can do this too. I can send it in. I can write it down and get it off my chest and get it out there. So that is the beauty of that. Your being a mom is very important. Being a wife, very important. Taking care of you allows all of that other stuff to happen. Loving your job, loving your husband, loving your children, perfect. Now, let's take it now and say, okay, let me love me first. No matter where you are in this journey, you can love yourself, right? Even if you're not exactly happy with yourself, you can certainly love yourself. Let's start there. And then you love yourself, you love your job, love your husband, love your children in that order, right? And then as things start getting back to normal, then we just talked about, you just go back to, okay, I got this. So my heart breaks for you and your entire family, and I can't even imagine what you've been through. I just can't, and it's completely devastating. The dreams that are shattered, all that, that. I'm not going to bring it back up. But what I want you to know is that you have a community here, people who get it, and not one piece is worse than another. And no one's journey is this one's harder than the other. They are 100% you and your journey alone to make it and get out there. You did an amazing job by resetting on a Saturday, right? My favorite term is there are 3 days. There are 3 days that are the best days to restart a weight loss journey. The first day is Monday. Most people wait till Monday, right? And so, yay, we're going to start a new diet on Monday. Okay. The next day, Number 2 is New Year's Day. All right, so the first day is Monday. The second day is New Year's Day. Most people say, okay, New Year's Day, it's time to start a new diet. The third day to restart a weight loss journey is today. Whether it be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, doesn't matter. Today is the day where you say, I can reset. And you did that. So again, you've demonstrated you have complete strength. You've demonstrated that you have the power to do this. And now we just look into getting to the routine where you say, okay, what tweak and change can I make to get there? I love your why, by the way. I can relate to this more than you know. So I've decided that my why is not to be skinny and look good. Although it wouldn't make me a sad though, but seriously, you want to be healthy. That's the incredible value of this current journey, right? This wellness journey that we're on. If you're happy, healthy, living healthy, that is the most important thing. Could you lose 20 pounds? Sure. But if you're overall healthy and you're happy, does that truly matter? As long as you're healthy, happy, checking in with your doc, all that good stuff, of course, right? So focus on your health. If you focus on your health, the body takes care of itself and will put you in whatever range you need to be. So I'm glad that you took this out, took the time to get this jotted out, shed the tears that needed to be shed, feeling good to get it out. Now let's go ahead, Jill, and continue to change our lives. Be the prize for your kids. Show them what's possible. Show them the glorious life that they are going to have with you as their mom. Very, very cool. Thank you for sharing, and I'm proud of you. I truly, truly am. Out of Valparaiso, Indiana, Rachel writes in next, and she says, "Hi, Mike. My name is Rachel from Valparaiso, Indiana, and I'm a WW member. I've been this time 14 months. I've been this time for 14 months, and in 13 months, I lost my first 100 pounds. My why keeps going even when I hit a brick wall. I sit and think about my why and what brought me through the doors to my first meeting this time, which, by the way, is my last time joining. On February 26, 2018, I sat in my living room and I thought how in 1 year I would be turning 40, and that scared me. I remember it like it was yesterday. My mother turning 40 and telling me when I turned 40, my health went down. I needed glasses. I got diabetes. And at the young age of 51, my mother passed away from cancer, and she was overweight her entire life. I was 24 years old, and I lost the strongest person I knew. And here I sat at my age of 39, already with diabetes, and that scared me for what my future held. I'm the mother of 3 daughters, and I promised myself that day that my children will never suffer the way that I did. And the only one way that it was guaranteed that was going to be that was for me to get healthy. With my family behind me, I joined, and our lives changed. I have a ways to go, but my A1C is now 4.5, and I've been told that if the doctor can take me off my diabetes chart, she would. Now here I am, 100 pounds lighter, and I hit a wall. I talked with my amazing leader and staff at the studio, along with members at the meeting, and I found a way to work through this again with my oldest daughter that shook me and told me that she wants me here now and forever. Thank you for always giving the kind words of believing in me. It truly speaks to me and helps me through the dark times when I feel that I've let myself down. I am moving onward and will one day cross the bridge to goal. Rachel. Rachel, congratulations on 100 pounds lost in 13 months. Incredible work. Outstanding. I am so proud of you. And getting your A1C down to 4.5, I agree with your doc. Certainly I've never been to medical school, but heck, let's get this thing off the chart. Let's you've changed your life. You have given yourself life. You have given yourself the gift of health. You have given your family you. That's what you've done. That's what 100 pounds lost does is it gives the gift of life and health to you, your friends, and your family. You can't buy this in any store. We go Christmas shopping, we go shopping for birthday gifts, and we look around for the most perfect gift, right? Man, if we could buy health, wouldn't you buy it and wouldn't that be the perfect gift? You can't buy it. You got to go earn it, and you've done that. So incredible job. And, being the mom of 3 daughters, that's a lot riding on your shoulders. Certainly I've never been a mom, but I've been a dad, and it's slightly similar, but not as hard, but there's a point in this journey where people depend on you. Our responsibility when we bring children into this world is to make sure that we do our best so that they can have the opportunity in a future that maybe we never had. And that's what you have. Watching your mom go through this, and you vowed to yourself, I'm never going to be there. And here you are going, that's true. I'm keeping that promise that I'm going to completely change my life. And through that, I'm going to change the future that my children have. I'm terribly sorry that at such a young age for you that your mom passed away, but the lesson she passed on to you is what you're doing now, is that you're taking care of you so that you can be in a much different place when you're 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. Heck, let's go to 90. Why not? If you completely change your life, it's endless. Right? And so you've given yourself now a new timeline to work from. You've taken yourself off of the diabetes chart. You've taken yourself off of that. Again, not something you can buy. It's something you have to earn. So here we are, 100 pounds lighter. You hit a wall. It's common. I see it often. But here's what you need to know. When you start this journey, many of us are so used to not eating well, not taking care of ourselves, that as we push through this and get to 100 pounds lost, we do it with sheer determination and grit, and we grind it out. It comes a point when you get, and I'm not a scientist either, so don't take this to the bank, but this is my opinion. It comes a point when you get down somewhere closer to the goal weight, where now your body needs a little bit more than just less. Your body needs actual nutrition. Your body needs to be treated properly. And so as we're losing weight, we can get away with eating less and eating in moderation, eating crap food in moderation. But as we get closer and closer and closer, that the quality of our food has to improve. So that's where I want you to take it. I want you to now look inward and say, okay, what am I eating now habitually that maybe can be replaced with something a little bit more healthier? Right? That's where I'm at in my journey. I've shared this more than once on Connected. There was a point in my journey where I lost the weight great. And I got all the way down to where I was eating protein bars like they were going out of style. There were days that would be the only thing I would eat because I was afraid to eat anything else because I was afraid of the scale. And so what I finally started doing is starting eating better, eating healthier. And I got rid of the protein bars. And so there was an adjustment period for me for sure. But now, much of what I eat is considerably better than what it used to. Sure, there's days when that isn't entirely true, but what I recognize is that I'm healthier and happier, and I'm doing it for me, and I'm doing it my way, and that's working for me, and that's where I want you to be is that you do what you need to do at this 100-pound point, and you say, I now want to focus on me and get to the point where I can do anything. Congratulations on your 100 pounds lost. That's incredible. Yeah, I want you to take a moment and just think about that. We give you the charm and we celebrate with you, but truly, 100 pounds? That is nothing more than you saying, I am going to give this my all. I'm going to completely change my life. I'm going to get healthy. Whatever it takes, I'm going to do it. Now, the society the deck is completely stacked against us, right? Advertisers don't help us. Our food world doesn't help us, right? The food processing, the plants who make the food, they don't help us. There's a lot of things that are against us. Our own genetics play a role against us, but we can manage this with all of those other outside factors. We can manage it. You have done that beautifully. Continue to do it. Continue to show your 3 daughters that it absolutely is possible to manage your life and live it the way that you want to live it. You got this. You got this. I believe that you got this. And when you do, we're going to celebrate. What is it that you're celebrating? Go ahead and let's share it on the air. Go to fatdag.com, click on the WhysAdvice podcast link. Send in your celebrations, your comments, your questions, and I'll work them in as part of the show. I want you to email in your celebrations because I want you to be proud of what you're doing. I want you to take a moment in self-reflection, and I want you to share it. Because I promise you, it happens all the time. When you share your email, when you use the incredible strength it takes to hit that send button, somebody else benefits. I promise you, there are people out there without the ability to do that. They're stuck. They're trapped. They're scared. They're lonely. They're in a place where they just don't know where to. And if they find this podcast, if they find it and are able to listen and they hear your bravery, then instantly they go, well, if Jill can do it, I can do it. If Rachel can do it, I can do it. That's what we are building here. And that's why I want you to send it in. Of course, I always want to hear the good news too, so send all of it to onair@fatdag.com. But hey, that's going to do it for this time now. Remember that losing weight and getting healthy has nothing to do with luck. You have to remain disciplined and focused. Set your sights on your goal and go after it. I wish you good focus. Thank you for listening to the WhysAdvice podcast. Did you know for as little as $1 a month, you can take the next step as a wingman and support the show? Visit FatDag.com, click on Become a Patron today.